Hi, fifth grade. Thanks for joining me again. We are working on lesson 93 of grammar. So you need your grammar book. You need something to write with. You need to have looked over the lesson explanation on Jupiter, and you need to have read the lesson. Our vocabulary today starts with the word optimum. Optimum means best or most favorable. For an optimum piano performance, I must practice daily. Our next word is minimum. The minimum is the least possible. To perform well, I need to practice for a minimum of an hour a day. So today we're talking about negatives and double negatives. Negatives are modifiers, usually adverbs, that mean no or not. We're going to talk about adverbs in another lesson. We're just going to talk about the negatives right now. So some common negatives: no, not, never, hardly, scarcely, barely, nowhere, none, no one, nothing, nobody. Because the word not is a negative, the contraction N'(T) is also a negative. Double negatives are a big no-no, and we don't do that. And I just used one. Oh no! So when we use only one negative to express a negative idea. In the English language, two negatives in the same clause cancel each other out, and the idea becomes positive again. Therefore, it's incorrect to use two negatives with one verb. We call this a double negative, and we avoid it. So here you have some examples in your book on page 499. Liz never needs no help. So because we use never and no in the same sentence, in the same clause, what it's actually saying is Liz needs help. So you can fix it one of two ways. You can say Liz never needs help or Liz needs no help, but you can't use both of them. Both of them will cancel each other out. To correct a double negative, we can either do what we just did. We just take one of them out and rewrite the sentence. Or we can replace one of the negatives with a positive form of the negative. So a lot of our negatives have basically like a positive opposite. And you have a nice list on page 500. So our negative, hardly, is balanced by the positive, almost. No, the positive is any or a. Nobody, anybody. Nowhere, anywhere. Never, ever. Neither, either. None, any. No one, anyone. Nothing, anything. So you have the example, Katie didn't do nothing. We would want to replace nothing with anything. Katie didn't do anything. Okay. On rare occasions, very rare occasions, very mature and skillful writers can use a double negative for effect. You have to be a very skillful writer. You have to know what you're doing, and you should use it very rarely, because if you overuse it, it just seems like you don't know how to write well, not that you're using it for effect. So I would not suggest employing that tactic in your writing at this time. So let's look at our practice on page 501. We're going to choose the correct word to complete sentences A through E. Sentence A: they hadn't, scarcely any more time. We want to choose had. They had scarcely any more time. We already have the negative scarcely, so we don't want to use the negative nt. That would make a double negative. Sentence B: we couldn't see no smoke. We want to choose could. We could see no smoke. We already have the negative no, so we don't want to also use the negative nt and make a double negative. We want to use could. Sentence C: I have never done anything, nothing more fun. We want to choose anything. I have never done anything more fun. We already have the negative never, so we want to use the positive anything, not the negative nothing. Sentence D. That hasn't ever never happened to me before. We want to choose ever. That hasn't ever happened to me before. We already have the negative not in the contraction N apostrophe T, so we want to choose the positive ever so that we don't create a double negative. Sentence E. They're not ever never going to find us. We want to choose ever. They're not ever going to find us. Because we already have the negative not in our sentence, we want to choose the positive ever so we don't create a double negative. So that is our lesson for today. I hope you guys have a good time doing your practice set, and I will see you guys here later for more grammar. Have a great day, guys.